Hey there, this says we are live, and I'm excited to talk to you about something. Today, I used this interesting background. This is a picture that I took in the Phoenix airport, and it's going from Terminal A to Terminal D, and there's a long, long hallway. I like there are many airports, but there's just a really long hallway that so long that it has multiple moving stair machined, people movers as you see on both sides. And I saved this picture because it was blurry. I saved this picture because it showed the motion and it also showed it being, blurry. And how many times have you felt like, or do you feel like that's sort of blurry? As you're moving around in an airport, it can feel like you're just going from place to place and you're passing all these people and nobody is connected to anybody. And life is just moving like that. That can happen if you're walking down a busy street. It can happen if you're in a busy building or you're moving up and down an escalator. There's a store in San Francisco, and I don't know if it's one of the one. I think it's not in business anymore because of the migration of stores out of the city center. But there was a place near Union Square in San Francisco that had multiple floors, and you could look up and down many escalators. It was like 4 or 5 or 6 stories high, and it was a high-end retail store. It might have been Saks Fifth Avenue or something. But anyway, you could just see up and down and all these people going everywhere, and it could really feel alone, like you were by yourself. And I use this hazy picture to sort of represent that. But today I want to talk about, here's the truth. You're not alone. You're not alone. We have built our world such that everyone is focused, for the most part, and this is a generalization, but everyone's focused for the most part on everything they need right in front of them. And something that has happened to me, or that I have created, because nothing really happens to us, it all happens for us, but something that I've created in my life is this intentional being where I am. So when I am somewhere now, I am only there. When I go into a store, before I park in a parking lot and I'll look around and I'll see the cars and see people walking, and I look at them now completely different. I wonder what's going on with them, and I look at them and see their beauty and their divinity and so forth. And so what that's done, and I do that when I go in the store. I'll look at the clerk. I went to drop something off at the post office the other day that had to be mailed, registered mail, or with tracking and everything because it was really important. And I looked at the clerk as this clerk was working on the working for handling the couple that was in front of me, and I just looked at the movements and the body language, and I couldn't really hear what she was saying, but it just occurred to me connected how connected we all are. And even though each person that we see going by us, like these hazy people, even though that just goes by and goes by, the truth is we're all really deeply and powerfully connected. And, I don't know about you, but have you ever had a conversation or you're involved in a conversation with someone, and then after a minute you realize you haven't heard a single word? Yeah, or very little of it. Like what? That happened or used to happen when I was talking to my wife sometimes. She would say something and I go, yeah, uh-huh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she'd say, okay, then I'm gonna, and then she would say something and I would hear that and I realized I didn't even realize what we were talking about. And so I was disconnected. I was not present in that moment. And so she, in the conversation, had been alone. She was speaking these things to me, and I was nodding and acting as if I were present, but I wasn't. And, it's funny because I ended up one time, the stereotypical thing happened. She said, well, I'm going to go X then. And apparently I had agreed to have her go do something, buy something that she wanted. And I didn't even know we were talking about that. And I told her that and we laughed about it and so forth. But it just made me realize we create separation. You and I, we are not alone. We are connected. We are joined at the hip. We are created by the same God. We're on the same earth. We all want to be happy and feel joy. We also want to love and serve each other. We're born to give and receive love. That's what we're created to do. And yet, we quickly create this feeling like it's in this picture here, this fuzzy invisibility of things going on around us. We don't even know what's happening. It's just passing us by. What a sad thing for us, because we have disconnected ourselves from our fellow beings, from each other, and sometimes from our own internal feelings. I remember that so clearly, walking into my study at a time several years ago and saying out loud to myself, I don't even know who I am. And that came just as a result of my own, being like this. I was walking by myself to and fro and didn't even realize that, and stay connected with myself, my surroundings, the people around me. Today, what I have now done, and I'm just talking about it today because I want you to think about it. You and I, we are connected. I love you. You are a human being. You are valuable. You are capable. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You have gifts and talents. I would consider it a great honor to know you, to look into your eyes and witness your divinity and your divine gifts and power. I love that. That's one of the things I love most of all about being a coach, is I get to look into the faces of beautiful, capable people. I had a conversation just earlier today with a woman that I have known now for several years, but I hadn't talked to her for a while. And I felt a swelling of gratitude as we looked through the Zoom, because that's how we're talking a lot these days, into her eyes. And I got to see who she was and hear what she was doing and feel that upwelling of connection. What I've also noticed is our creator is that available also. Like with this woman, we scheduled a Zoom and there we were. It was that easy. We just had to carve out a moment of time and there we were, connected. Now, the connection comes not just from being, at least my experience is not just from being in the same place or looking at each other on Zoom, but it's an energetic presence. So I came with only one goal to that particular meeting, and that was to look at, to listen to be present, to be connected with this particular woman. I have discovered that the more I do that, the more I look to be connected with the person that I'm talking to right then. Not only does it happen and the connection's there and real, and the more I'm there for them, listening to them, being present for them, the better I feel. So it's like it's a reflective thing. And that's another thing that I so love about being a coach, because the more I get to look in your eyes and see your beauty and your humanity and your capability, even if it's in the midst of struggle, even if there's questions, how do I do this? Why isn't this working? All of that sort of thing, even though that is truth for some of our circumstances, the other powerful, amazing truth is that we are connected in love and humanity to each other. That's one reason. In fact, it's one of the main reasons why I'm committed. My commitment this year is to reach 250 million people. Now, it's not the middle of the year, it's March, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I have 3 invitations for you. If you know how I can reach more people with the message of love and encouragement and acknowledging your capability and greatness, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to work with you, partner with you to figure out how we together can share, lift, bless, and love more people. So that's my first invitation. The second invitation is, you see there on the screen, www.yourultimatelife.ca. That's just a place. It's a website, but it's a place where I have poured heart and soul and energy and effort into giving you keys. I call them master keys to create a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. And I focus on that, I think, so much because so much of my life, I didn't have that. I was busy doing what I was supposed to do, but I wasn't happy. Even when I made tons of money and I, bought all kinds of stuff and had whatever I wanted to buy, My soul was vacuous and empty. And that all changed when I learned to love, got outside myself. And so here's the second invitation. I meet a few people, maybe one or two in 100, who look at me and say, yes, they are living a life that they love. All parts of it. They're just in love with it. Not very many, 1 or 2%. If you're one of those, if you're living a life that you just love, I would just be delighted, honored to meet you. And here's the reason. There's two reasons. One, I just love to know people who have created that life for themselves. And the reason I want to is because I want to expand the number of people that I know are living like that. So I invite you to reach out to me so we can connect. In addition to just connecting, I have a show I'd like you to be on, Your Ultimate Life podcast or Your Ultimate Life LA Talk radio show. The reason is because I want to spread this message to more and more people that you don't have to live in mediocrity. You don't have to live settling for the easy and obvious. You can have what you want. You can be who you want. You can have joy every day, all day. And you might think I'm nuts, and that's okay. But at least I'm a joyful nut. So that's the second invitation. If you're living that ultimate life, please, let's connect and talk. The third invitation is most people, the other 98%, when I ask them if they love their lives and if they're living full in, 98% say, not really. Some will say, life's pretty good, but then they list several things. I want to meet you because I want to encourage you. Stay the course. Don't give up. Move things from your imagination to possibility to reality. You are designed for greatness. You're destined for greatness. You matter. Your love and your heart matter. And so my whole work all day long, every day, is to reach 250 million people and help you create your ultimate life. Now, you're going to have your own words, but I define that as a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. Whoa, what a life. I never in my wildest dreams imagined I could have it. But I do. And I'm so blessed and grateful. I kept to pinch myself, beep, every single day. The people I talk to, people like you, the opportunities I get. I just was working on a song earlier that I'm going to perform here in just a couple, 3 weeks in connection with Easter. So excited. And I never would have imagined these blessings and opportunities, but there's nothing interesting or special about me, I promise. So what I've learned is my own purpose for being alive and breathing air still is to help you, give you the assurances, the methods, the tools, the encouragement, so you can create the life you absolutely crave and love. So those are the three invitations. I want to remind you at the end here, you're not alone. You are connected, you are loved, you are powerful, you have infinite ability. But often, like this blurry photo in the airport, we get confused. We lose sight of these opportunities and capabilities. Grab them right here, right now. We'll see you tomorrow.